All right, I'm calling the regular Beach Park District 3 school board meeting to order. And will you do the roll call?
Marsha White.
Here.
Nicole Butler.
Here.
Andrea Usry.
Here.
Andy Luther.
Here.
Bettina Gollwitzer.
Here.
Corey Geiser. Kelly Rovers.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Turning the meeting over to Dr. Wilcox.
Thank you, Ms. White. So, for the second year in a row, I'm going to have an intern working under me who wants to become a superintendent someday. So, I'm going to invite John Rovenal, our assistant principal, up to the podium, and he's going to share kind of a brief overview of what he plans to do during his internship.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Wilcox. So, as Dr. Wilcox said, for this school year, I will be serving as an intern for superintendent. I'm completing my program through Concordia University of Chicago. During this time period, I will be helping with different district level tasks to get a sense for district leadership. I will also be completing a superintendent internship planner that the state requires. And I have to complete a superintendent internship improvement project. The focus of my project this year will be on family and community engagement. According to the 2024 Illinois Applied Essential Survey, we as a district scored only 44 out of 100, which is a neutral, in the category of involved families. We also were 45 in parent involvement, 51 in parent influence, and 37 in teacher-parent trust. So as such, my SMART goal for this school year is that by the end of the 25-26 school year, our family involvement in schools will increase by 25%, which is 11 points, as measured on the 5 Essentials data. During this time, I will be focusing on developing targeted research-informed communication plans and family community outreach events, implementing a structured collaborative session to build stronger family, school, community partnerships, but that will be done through the Superintendent's Advisory Council, increase opportunities for parent involvement in classes, and reach out to community organizations for more involvement at district events.
Thank you so much, John. Just really quick, I wanted to say what a great turnout we had for the Back to School Bash, and I think I saw almost everyone at the Back to School Bash from the board. We had just over 4,500 students and families. We believe that number is probably a little bit higher than that. However, we did realize there was a slight flaw in our reporting system, and several of the people, when they scanned the QR code, only put in that they were bringing a student when they had maybe 5 people with them or 10 people with them. So we had over 25 food trucks. We had 45 community organizations that were present, sharing resources, support, giveaways. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that helped plan the Back to School Bash, especially, and even though she's not here tonight, Christina Julian, our parent community coordinator. She has done an amazing job in ensuring that we have food trucks. And then JC from the high school district, who did her internship for superintendent last year, she helped to secure the 45 organizations that came. So overall, it's just an amazing event. We ran out of food probably by 6 p.m. with all of the food trucks. So out of 25 food trucks, having nothing left was pretty crazy. So it was a wonderful event, and all of you that came, thank you so much for coming. We will start debriefing about it in the coming weeks after we all get school started and look at what we plan to do next year. We also this past week had new teacher orientation, so Ms. Griffiths and then the people who oversee our new teacher immersion program, Ro Torres and Alexa Young, did an outstanding job welcoming over 20 new staff members to the district. Training happened, team building happened. It was a great introduction to the district as a whole. The last couple things here, our first Teacher Institute Day and the first official day of school are next week, the 18th, and the 19th will be 2 Teacher Institute Days held here at the middle school for the start of both of those days. And then teachers and all other staff will eventually go to their own buildings where principals have activities planned. And then on Tuesday, we do have open house. The elementary school open houses are from 4 to 5:30, and the middle school's open house is from 5 to 6:30. Our theme this year, if you weren't at the Back to School Bash, is Spark Curiosity, Ignite Core Learning Memories, and that is directly from the Inside Out 2 movie. If you haven't watched any of the movies, there are 2 of them. It's all about our feelings and what happens inside our heads as we deal with life. So that is all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Wilcox. Do you have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Bettina Goldwitzer,
Aye.
Andy Luther,
Aye.
Kelly Ropers, Nicole Butler,
Aye.
Marshall White,
Aye.
Corey Geiser,
Aye.
and Drew Esri.
Aye.
Thank you. Do we have any correspondence? All right. Long-range planning.
Thank you. Long-range planning did meet this past week. If you read through your board packet and looked at the Buildings and Grounds report, you'll see the projects, summer projects that were completed this year and what the status of those are. I guess the only thing I would add is we are continuing to work on the Oak Crest signage and have identified a sign, have called for 3 bids, have them back, and I'm currently talking with the preschool about financial assistance and purchase.
Time of the year, Frank went in great detail with the budget discussion, so we went through the slides that he will be presenting this evening. And that's all I have. We also reviewed the monthly finance bills and approved it in the treasurer's report.
Thank you. CEDAW.
Yes, we met on the 6th. We had a new board We met on the 6th. We had a new board orientation for an hour and a half. Then we went over the, how much detail do you want?
Most important to our board.
Okay. Working on their continuous improvement plan. That's going really well. They extended collective bargaining agreement with their aides. Financial update, everything seems stable and good. So they went over, they had an extended year program that was extremely successful. There were over 500 students that attended out of 53 classes. 91% of parents in the survey stated that they could see a definite impact on their students with that extended year. And they're talking about, I don't know how long it was this year, but they're talking about extending it for 6 weeks next year. That was very successful. And some upcoming events. They have the Golf Invitational on September 8th, 5K Run Walk on September 13th, and a one-night special November 8th. I'm sorry, I don't remember what that is. And then also, they are looking for one board member for the executive board. It meets in the mornings on Thursday, starts at 8:30. Any one of us can be a part of that, as long as Dr. Wilcox is not, and she's not. So I said I would throw that out there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to department reports. Assistant Superintendent, you have anything, right, that you wanted to share?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been working with the social workers, and this year they recognize. Not too loud, right from the distance. We've been working with the social workers, collaborating with the county this year. We were able to present a call myself in terms of PBIS and all the activities that we do to promote social emotional in the district. And she received an award in terms of the great work that we did that day, especially in all presenting. We were presenting all the support that she provided to the district.
Great job.
Thank you. Okay, Frank.
Please make sure that's on.
Okay. All right. So here to talk about the tentative budget tonight. A lot of work and time has gone into preparing the budget to be presented tonight. Had all the building administrators, the principals, their budgets were due back in April. So the process starts pretty much right after the levy. So in December, we'll start working on the budget. The administrators and their department budgets, they've been working on them since March. Those were also due in April and May. So it's been a long cycle, and a lot of people have really helped out with the budget. I want to thank everybody that had something to do with it. How much lag? Establish a budget. The school code requires that the board adopt a tentative budget and have it put on display for 30 days. So tonight we're going to be approving the tentative budget to be put in the newspaper, which will be tomorrow, the Lake County Sun, Lake County News Sun. It'll be in there tomorrow. We'll have it posted on our website. We'll have a hard copy at my desk for anybody that wants to come in and look at it. It's the same one that is attached to the board agenda. Then in September, the September board meeting, we'll be having a public hearing, and that's what's going to be in the newspaper. It's going to be letting the public know that there will be a public hearing on September 15th. And then the final budget has to be submitted to ISB and to the county clerk by the 29th of December, or not, September. So that's kind of the requirements. So this is a budget timeline, pretty much similar to what I just said, but August 11th, that's today, we are presenting the tentative budget and hopefully getting it approved to be published in the newspaper. September 15th will be the public hearing. September 30th, I will file the budget with the clerk and ISB. One more. Yeah. Okay, so this slide shows you what last year's revenues and expenses were with the actual, not the budget, but what was actually brought in and spent. It's unaudited though, but it's pretty accurate. So the revenues that came in totaled $46,217,361. The expenditures totaled $45,631,400. $45,631,400. So
So we ended up with a surplus of $585,000. If you recall, the original budget called for a $2.1 million deficit, and that was intentional. We were going to do some facility upgrades using the surplus from FY24. Well, one of the PE teachers came to the long-range planning committee and presented to the committee a need for an expansion and some remodeling in the Oak Crest gym. Oak Crest gyms need some help. So the long-range planning committee went, we had one of our meetings over there so that we could visit the facility and see what the gym looked like and what it needed. And we did find that it is in serious need of renovation and expansion. It's too small, the floors are buckling up and bubbling, and it's not adequate for what the kids need. So we determined instead of spending the $2.1 million deficit on capital projects that were already in our facilities plan, we were just going to do them early. We decided to keep them in the 5-year facility plan and start saving to build a new gymnasium at Oak Crest. So this year we're putting $2.1 million into the capital outlay fund to hold there as we each year try to do a little bit of surplus to put it into that fund until we can afford to pay for a new gymnasium, expansion of the gymnasium and remodeling. And the project currently at this day and age, you know how things increase or change, the project would cost between $3 million and $4 million. And we are putting 2.1 in there now, so hopefully we can do this within 2 to 3 years. Do it even sooner, that would be better. That gym really needs it. So this, that one's good? Okay. This is the tentative revenue. This year we're anticipating 0.3% less revenue than we received last year. The reason for this is because last year we still received ESSER funding. We received $522,000 in ESSER funds. This year we won't be receiving any of that. It's all been spent and now they have given us all of our funds. We won't be receiving any more. Another reason that it's down is because transportation claim. Historically, the transportation claim has been reimbursed at 80%. This year, they're reimbursing special education at 61% and regular education at 71%. So that's a total of, if you look at what we spent last year, it would be $517,000 less than they would receive if they continued to pay at 80%. So that's over $1 million between those two things. So that's one of the reasons the revenues are down 0.3%. If you look at the individual funds, O&M shows that it's down 50%. That's because last year we allocated like $300,000 to the ed fund to pay for some of the capital funds. And this year we don't need to do that because we're going to be doing less capital projects. The IMRF and Social Security Fund went up 50%, and the reason for that is because, if you remember last year's levy, I explained that I was levying less in the levy, or the IMRF fund, because the fund balance is getting too high. So we could possibly get tax projections and have to pay money back. So I levied low last year and got the fund balance to where it should be, and now we're just going to levy out of the PBF money to that to keep that fund balance where it should be as well. And then fire and safety is down 49%, and that's just due to levying less. We have a fund balance there. We're going to spend some of it this year. We don't need to go to our fund. That's what we need. So on the expenditure side, they're anticipated to increase 1% over last year's actual expenses. Now, that's not a very substantial increase. When you think about the cost of living increases and all the things we spend, but this is largely due to not having as many capital projects planned for this year. And as far as the individual funds go, you'll notice capital outlay went down 100%. That's because there are no capital projects this year. We're still spending capital outlay money on the Early Childhood Center this year to finish paying for that project. And then this year we don't have any capital outlay projects. The capital fund is a place that you save money for a project, large sums of money for a project later. future, or it's where you put your bond proceeds. And the reason for that is because you can't do tax objections on the capital outlay fund, and it doesn't count towards per pupil spending. So if you're gonna put $40 million into that fund because you're building a middle school, that would reflect on your per pupil spending, and that would be way off. So that's the reason for the capital outlay. So we're not spending anything out of that this year. We will in the future when we start putting, as we start saving for the whole rest. And then, if you look at the individual fund of fire and safety, that went up, looks scary, 314%. But if you notice, it's not a very big number. We're talking about $14,000 that we spent last year. So this year, and that was on like AEDs and emergency equipment for the buildings. This year, we're going to be spending $60,000. So that's why it's a 314% increase, going from 14 to 60. And the 60 is going to be mostly for having a life safety survey done, a 10-year life safety. You have to do that every 10 years with the state and submit it. We're a little overdue on that, so we're going to have that done this year. And that's going to cost between $50,000 and $60,000. We have an architect come out and they do an in-depth survey, they do reports, they do costings. It's a very in-depth procedure. So that's the reason for that big increase. This is the tentative revenues and expenses for this year. The total revenues that are budgeted are anticipated to be $46,083,275. Total expenditures are anticipated to be $46,138,078. So that's a $54,803 difference. It's a deficit. It's a plan deficit. You want to keep your budget balanced. You don't want a $2 million surplus, you want a $2 million deficit. $54,000 is an appropriate deficit to be at. And hopefully it won't be a deficit because, as you know, I tend to budget a little bit conservative. I try to be as accurate as I can, but somewhat conservative. So we still hope to have a surplus. So we have healthy overall fund balances. This chart shows the fund balances in each fund and what our total fund balance is. We anticipate that our fund balance on June 30th, at the end of this year, is going to be $33,901,795. This is a safe amount of reserves to cover expenses if sources fall, if revenue sources fall through. And it also gets us through the points during the year when we're waiting on property taxes. We receive property taxes mainly two huge chunks during the year. So when they come in, we have plenty of money to flush. But then as months go on, we're not receiving any tax payments. It gets pretty tight. So you want to have a fund balance to be able to cover those. Because not long ago, some of you may remember that we were taking out loans, tax anticipation warrants, with interest to cover payroll and accounts payable during those later months before the taxes. So we don't want to have to do that if we want to keep public fund balances. So some key takeaways. We do have a deficit budget, but since we have healthy fund balances, we don't have to do any kind of deficit spending time with the state. The district is financially stable. We should have more information on potential refinements that might happen to the budget between now and the next meeting. We will have more information on personnel report, like what people we've hired in the last month, and then what's coming until September. We'll have more accurate data there for benefits and salaries. We can plug in the real numbers instead of assumptions. We will have final EBF numbers. We actually have the final EBF number now. It came in 2 days ago, and the budget was completed by then. So the actual numbers will be plugged into the final budget. There's about $200,000 off, $16 million. So it's pretty close to not making a big difference, but it will help. And we should receive more information on what the corporate personal property replacement taxes are as well. The clerk usually gives us an estimate every year. Corporate personal property replacement taxes are what businesses pay in taxes. And we should get that report from the clerk soon, so we'll have a better idea of what that number is as well. So there will be slight changes between now and the final budget, but this kind of budget pretty, closely reflects what I expect the final budget to be. The revenues and expenses will be for FY26. I'm asking the board tonight to approve the tentative budget, and we'll put it on display tomorrow in the newspaper, as well as the website and the hard copy in my office or front desk with the register. And then we're going to ask the board to adopt the final budget at the September 15th budget hearing. So this slide, I don't really need to go over because we went over the first two slides, but it's just what the next steps are. Accepting the budget, scheduling the public hearing, putting it in the newspaper, having it on display for 30 days, then holding the public hearing, submitting the final budget to ISB and to the county. Any questions?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So do we have any questions for any of the other department reports? All right? And you're letting me know there's no questions or comments. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Bettina Goldwasser. Andrew Osry. Marcia White.
Aye.
Nicole Butler. Corey Geisler. Andy Luther.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the place the financial year 26 tentative budget on the public display and publish required notice?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Andy Luther. Marcia White.
Aye.
Nicole Butler. Andrew Osry. Corey Geisler. Bettina Goldwasser.
All right. Do I have a motion for the approval of the school treasurer's security bond?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Andrew Osry. Bettina Goldwasser. Corey Geisler. Nicole Butler. Marcia White.
Aye.
Andy Luther.
Aye.
This is a real hard one because we're going to have a short meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Andrew Osry. Bettina Goldwasser. Marcia White.
Aye.
Corey Geisler. Nicole Butler. Andy Luther.
Have a good evening, everyone.